Hey, good evening. Tonight I got a very very special guest, man. You know, sometimes when you decide that you want to take on a a task, you have to look at people that have kind of like paved the way before you. And this brother I got tonight has been doing YouTube for a while. I love his content. I love how he always just bring forth the information. Don't get caught up in the riffraff of YouTube beefs and all that other stuff. He may not consider himself a historian, but believe it or not, he's a historian. I would consider him a teacher and a good teacher and a good student all at the same time, because if you see him do shows by himself, it's just as good as him having a guest. So,
Oh, thank
Brother
you.
Ron, WEALLBETV, you guys check his YouTube channel out at WeAllBTV. I mean, awesome content. He's interviewed a lot of people, man. When he said the other day when he said he interviewed Sonia Sanchez, I was like, man, I never seen that interview, and I was chasing the interview.
It was like back in 2014. I met her, and she was just a beautiful woman. I mean, I was blessed to be able to meet Sonia Sanchez and Nikki Giovanni around the same time. I mean, these are amazing women. They small, petite things, but they just powerful voices, and they fill up a room, and they just they care about our people. They love our people. You could tell.
So Brother Ron, what made you get into saying, you know what, this is what I want to do with YouTube? Start my own
I
channel.
don't know what I was doing, man. I just I think I went to I went to both of Obama's inaugurations. I went to the red one, those things. We know how everything turned out with that experiment. But we were very optimistic. I think I just started the channel when I interviewed a sister. She was a visual artist that I met at Howard University around inauguration time. And I said, let me start just uploading to this channel. You know what I'm saying? This back in January 2009. Didn't really know what I was doing. There was no blueprint for it. I just wanted to share what I was passionate about with other people. That's always been me, trying to share what I learned with other folks by some type of way or means.
So you grew up in Memphis?
Yeah, I grew up in Memphis. I was born in Knoxville. My parents actually met in college. My father's from Saginaw, Michigan. My mom's from Memphis, and come to find out that my father's 8th grade math teacher is my mom's aunt, who was from Mississippi.
Wow.
So I mean, they met in college. I mean, I guess I was supposed to happen.
Wow.
Because they conceived me on their wedding night, whatever. So I was supposed to happen. I guess that's the only reason why they had to meet.
So you started your journey. You started your channel, and then you just, all right, I'm gonna just share some. So you always was keen towards learning history and.
Yeah, I was passionate because school is not school. I mean, people talking about critical race theory and stuff. It's not the school responsibility to teach you knowledge yourself. You're supposed to learn it from your home, from your village, from your people. Now, if your people don't know who they are, then there's a problem. I was just blessed that my grandma had it. I grew up before. I call myself part of the Oregon Trail generation. I remember Oregon Trail playing in school. We didn't really have internet. We had AOL. You dial up. I didn't know what the hell I was doing when the internet came out back in the 90s, man. I was just looking at pages. Then I could click on things to get in. This is back in 97, but when I was coming up, my grandma had a encyclopedias. I mean, the internet for me growing up was the encyclopedias.
Don't tell me outdated. Those
Britannicas, World Book. But my grandma had this special Black History World Book encyclopedia from the 70s. So I'll just dive into that when I was in elementary, learning about Medgar Evers and Burt Williams and Emmett Till, and even learn about Nathan Bedford Forrest, the first Grand Wizard of the Klan, and the Fort Pillow Massacre. So I learned all this Black history just from going to my grandma's encyclopedia and just reading stuff. And listening to the elders.
So let me ask you, when you started your channel, now you're giving up information and you're telling people all the people you done met. Then you get who was your first, as we would say, celebrity interview?
That's a great question. Man. Who was my first? Because celebrities, I mean, famous is all relative. I mean, whatever your circles are. I mean, you could be famous in this circle or arena and nobody know who the hell you are over here. That's a great question. I can tell you who got me started, who really inspired me to take it to the next level. I had saw Juan Williams speak as the keynote. I don't know if people know who Juan Williams is. I don't know. He's a hybrid between conservative and liberal, depending on the issue and the channel.
Commentary with Fox News now.
Yeah, but he used to be on NPR. So whatever the platform, he like a chameleon. He just changes. With the wedding. And also, he wrote a couple of books about Black history, in particular the Civil Rights Movement history. So he was the keynote. at the Black History Program for corporate FedEx. Was founded and is headquartered in Memphis. So I saw him as his keynote. This is back, I want to say back in February 2006. So I met him, took a picture, whatever. Then he gave me his number. So I was telling him that I was just very perturbed by how Black people, in particular Black males, were portrayed in mainstream media. And basically what he told me was, look, man, just get with a group of people, like-minded individuals in your community. Y'all can start a radio program. He didn't tell me how to start it, get on public access TV, but find a way to get in a position where you can control the narrative. So he inspired me to try to keep my eyes open, because this is when I really started. The We All Be thing was back in April 2006. But I went to Reverend Lasimba Gray, who's an activist here and prominent member of our community in Memphis. He's the one that helped spearhead the effort to get the Ida B. Wells monument built here in Memphis that was unveiled on her birthday this past July. But he had arranged a caravan to go to protest the early voting down in New Orleans. This is after Katrina happened, and we went down there April Fool's Day 2006, and they had an epiphany on that bridge. That bridge where the Black folks couldn't get into that parish. They turned their ass around. I had an epiphany. I said, I want to start something called We All Be, World Enriching, Activating, Liberating, Love, Beautification Experience. That's what the hell I'm doing. But it started as a blog, and then the blog, I talked to Juan Williams. Love will have it. My mom was interviewed by a sister back in December of 2006 on this platform called Blog Talk Radio. So I saw that as my way. Let me check out this Blog Talk Radio thing. So on January 7th, 2007, I did my first podcast. And first I was doing it because my friends, we would have these, how you have friends, y'all have interesting esoteric conversations, and you be talking for hours, and damn, we should record this for posterity or just try to have the exchange. First, I was doing it like on Sundays where I just have my friends from college and whatnot. We'll talk, and then they start falling off. So it's getting to your point. I'm doing like Dick Gregory and them doing.
I call that the conversation that nobody think men have, because
exactly.
I think a lot of times a lot of our women don't think that men really be having these intimate conversations and hold each other accountable. And it's like, y'all don't ever say. I'm like, when men get to talking,
that now, it's a sense of urgency for Black masculinity is like in the death throes right now. We could talk about that, about Black masculinity being on, especially with these entertainers. I mean, Jesus. But at first we was doing that, like those conversations you was talking about, and then my friends, they started getting other interests. So I said, this is the era when MySpace was bigger than Facebook. So I started going on MySpace and stuff and try to find people to book. And also I started talking to civil rights veterans, because I was telling you it's a civil rights site with veterans on there that people should look at. It's called crmvets.org or crmvet.org. You know what I'm talking? crmvet.org. So I started hitting up their little speakers list and stuff and contacting veterans from that list and started having my show. Yeah, it's available right now. There's a lot of interest in veterans on there. Like, you just lost Bob Moses, and I met Bob Moses at the anniversary of Freedom Summer back in 2014 at Tougaloo College, which is outside of Jackson, Mississippi. And, today is actually the anniversary when they discovered or exhumed the bodies of Swerner, Cheney, and Goodman from an earthen dam in Mississippi.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, August 4th I call it Black August. Like, I got Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, he was born August 4th. You got Paul Mooney was born August 4th. Barack Obama was born August 4th. You discovered the bodies of Swerner, Cheney, and Goodman, August 4th, 1964. So like Black August is like this, to me, this is the real Black History Month. This is the month of revolution. A lot of great, amazing people were born in the month of August for our culture.
So
my first person I interviewed was John Hope Franklin, by the way, Dr. John Hope Franklin.
Okay.
For probably the first celebrity.
So tell us about your I like to say he was your friend as well as all our elders, Baba Dick Gregory. How was that first meeting him?
Well, I tell you what's interesting, because it's on us to uplift our people. People say, well, so-and-so ain't a household name or so-and-so. And then we got to tell these people's stories. It's on us to tell our ancestors' story. If we don't tell these stories, the ancestors get no glory. Brother named Marcus Jones, who is and was the father of Michael Bell of Gen 6 fame. And people forget about the Gen 6 movement. And so I was like one of the first platforms to actually interview participants and whatnot involved in that movement, including parents and lawyers, and a radio personality named Tony Brown out of Louisiana, who coined the phrase Gen 6 before Al Sharpton and them got involved. because most of the foreign press that was covering it, but with his brother with this very popular talk radio morning show that was on the ground reporting all the incidents. That's Tony Brown. But Marcus Jones, we became friends. I respect that brother. He was a man because he was living in Dallas when his son got in trouble, because Michael Bell was the only one who did any type of prison time out of the Gen 6. So he came back from Dallas, moved back to Gina, and became a very vocal voice. But they were trying to character assassinate brother Marcus Jones, and they were trying to use black women to undermine him. And
Wow.
you know, and that's another story. I mean, but he was the kid that told me, brother Ron, you need to talk to Dick Gregory. So he gave me, I think, Dick Gregory.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What did you know about Dick Gregory before you actually met him? Did you know like who he was, that he ran for president? Did you know any?
I know, I know, you know, he's like, he was a comedian, and you know, I remember the house party thing was, give me that Dick Gregory, you know, dude, give me Dick Gregory, like treat like it's Kool-Aid or something. I remember that. I didn't know because he was from a different generation. That's some different era. But what the internet has done is like it reintroduced him to a new generation or generations of people.
No. Ron,
I didn't know anything really too much about
you being humble. You probably interviewed Dick Gregory more than anybody that we know.
Yeah, I mean,
Believe it or not,
started it. I would say I think it was the Django interview, because I started interviewing because when I first, you know, when Marcus Jones told me to contact Dick Gregory, I did. It was somebody that answered the phone at his home. He never had his phone number. His phone number was always listed. But people do not, we don't know how to research. But a lot of our greatest public servants, they always have been accessible. If you're a true public servant, a lot of times their phone numbers will be listed. In spite of the death threats, they would have all their information listed in the white pages. But when I called them was because Marcus Jones, who's deceased now. And I didn't know he was dead until Dick Gregory died. I didn't know he'd been dead for almost 3 years. Before Dick Gregory got ran over down in Gina. Some type of way on a highway. I don't know what that was about. But he fell out the truck and he got ran over on the highway, and people said it was an accident. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, the Django interview. I started interviewing Dick back in March of, I want to say it was March of 2011 or something like that. And that was on Blog Talk Radio. So I started, but then it wasn't until we did the Django thing. I didn't think nothing of it, man, until Dick called me the next day saying, man, you know what's going on, man? He had his wife on, hey, man, you know who called me? Quentin Tarantino, you know, Jamie Foxx, Reginald Hudson. Thank you. And you ever need anything, any interview, you holler at Neil, we'll make it happen. I got that recorded somewhere, you know, that, but it was that Django thing that really started getting people interested in Dick Gregory's point of view on things.
You know what's funny? I heard him, I don't know, I think it was on one of your shows. It was about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he spoke about the origin of King Kong.
Oh, it was Jack.
And I was blown away. So when, you know, the movie came out, you know, people was like, you going to watch? I was like, no. I was like, Dick Gregory said that movie came from, you know, the Jack Johnson thing. I said, no. I said, I refuse to do that. I'm boycotting that movie. And,
well, you know, Dick had amazing, because he was the first time I heard that black folks invented hockey was from Dick Gregory. You know, Dick was privy to so much information. People trusted him with so much. He was his own, like, one-man social media. Before there was an internet, you know, you get things Dick Gregory, it get out to about 1,000 people. So people say, why don't nobody try to kill him? They try to kill him, but, you know, what's the point? Once he, you know, Dick Gregory get it, like his son say, Christian, he'll go to Kinko's, make 1,000 copies and pass it out to people. Say, what's the point of killing him now? It's already out there now. It ain't no point.
Yeah, his you know, it's funny because a lot of times when people, if you haven't listened to him and you listen to him like one time, you'd be like, you know, he all over the place, but he's actually giving you so much information, and he's giving you a starting point where to look. And you know when he get, see, the universe don't lie.
Right.
You know, the universe of God, he just don't lie. He's like, huh, listen to me. You know, I even be imitating him, man, because like I told you, from really listening to him on your platform and then watching the documentary.
The one and only Dick Gregory on Showtime right now. Yeah.
This man, he did a lot, man. He touched a lot of people, and he was like, he was the bridge for us from his friends, Medgar Evers and Martin and Malcolm. He was the bridge. He was the true information bridge, because a lot of times, like you always talk about recently, nobody talks about Medgar Evers.
No.
Nobody never even. Oh yeah, he worked for the NAACP. That's it. He got killed in front of his wife and kids. But nobody, they don't talk about them. If they talk about them, it's an image award. They trying to get something out the deal.
Right, right. They won't give him no bodyguards while he was alive, but they'll speak over his body, like they'll wrap his dead carcass around whatever they trying to do to sell what they selling. But Dick, without Mega, there's no Dick Gregory. That's not the Dick Gregory that we know and love and celebrate. Without him meeting Mega, because Mega is an interesting dude, because like there's not that much speech material, but evidently he was a motivator, because he just had them guys on the spell. Even Lena Horne was under his trance. I don't want to know if they had it. I just don't want to know if they did anything. Please don't tell us. Merrily, please don't tell us if they did anything. I don't want to ruin. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? They already did the Dr. King thing. Please let them stories go with the grave.
It's amazing how with the elders back then, how they got information. They were serious with that word of mouth information and keeping secrets and supporting each other. Like you said, Mega was able to pull Dick into what was going on down there, and then Baba Gregory being so known, it was like, oh, now the cameras is down here.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that when in the movie, documentary. I was thinking about, how I remember Baba Gregory was talking about Malcolm would be up north talking about what Martin doing, while Martin down there getting his butt kicked. Malcolm up there talking slick, like you ain't really did. We getting our butt kicked down south, and you up there in New York. You don't know what it's like, like on these front lines. And
right.
Amazing men there, and they definitely passed on a legacy. So you always say, everybody used to criticize you because you felt Baba Gregory used to be yelling at you.
Yeah.
Why you felt like, that way?
Oh man, but you talking about like criticize. Like you grow and you got to develop a thick skin about it. It is tough. To deal with somebody screaming he was like a drill sergeant or whatever. Like you're doing like basic training or whatever, it's boot camp. And I remember, it's funny how I've been a supervisor before on the job, and dealing with people older than me, and a lot of these black people being their feelings about you. Tell them something this way you say it. I was like, just take out the garbage because that's your job. I'm not telling you because I'm trying to challenge your manhood, but you sign up for this. Take out the garbage. That I ain't trying to be your drinking buddy.
Yeah.
And Dick was trying to get people ready for what is coming, what is happening now. He knew what was coming down the road.
It's through your channel that I really got a grasp of what is really going on, because you kind of like sit back and be like, why ain't no changes going on? And then
exactly.
you haven't Baba Gregory on there, and then like Judge Joe Brown, it's like they telling you they was there and they still putting work. They were still put up to Baba Gregory passing on. They were still putting work in, and nobody, you ain't gonna see mainstream media put a camera in their face or a microphone in their face.
No, but all our great leaders, they believe in the power of us telling our stories to our own media platforms. Now, I had a chance to speak with Dr. Bill Cosby about 30 minutes on Sunday, and he was just talking about the importance of telling our stories and being good stewards of our history and controlling our narrative. And that's one of the reasons why he tried to buy NBC. And if you look at all our greatest black leaders, they all either started some type of media organization or they utilized the media to this great effect. You think about Malcolm X, he started Muhammad Speaks. I'm right down the street from Beale Street where Ida B. Wells started the Free Speech and Headlight, or Frederick Douglass, the North Star. You go back to the Freedom's Journal, or I think the New York Age with T. Thomas Fortune, the Guardian with William Monroe Trotter. Some of my greatest and brightest minds knew the power of having a media platform to amplify their respective messages. Even Marcus Garvey with the Negro World. The list goes on. If you're a great black leader, you got to have an interest in telling your story from your perspective in controlling that narrative.
How do you view like what's going on now with and I don't want you to say nobody's name about a lot of the YouTube content creators. Do you feel like the YouTube content creators that is tapping into a consciousness that's waking a lot of people up?
We still are human, right? We got our frailties, we got our egos. I try to sidestep some of the nonsense. I'm not above it. I'm still a human being. Sometimes I get caught up in the madness too. But a lot of this stuff, this most important work and things that need to be done won't be broadcast or podcast. You know, we got to get out of going to snitch house or rat house or club house, what you call it, and telling all the business, the people's business. It's time for us to. Still, one thing why Dick Gregory said he respected Mega because he moved in the shadows. He wasn't a renowned figure while he was alive, so he was able to get a lot of things done because people were not paying attention to him, and he wasn't worried about it. He just wanted to be effective. And too many of us worry about people paying attention, getting likes, getting shares, retweets, and all that BS, and it don't make a difference at the end of the day if things ain't changing for the better or for our betterment, if we don't have the leverage to make things happen.
I'm gonna ask you a question, brother Ron. And I know that you had the opportunity to interview and speak with a lot of the elders.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you could be a true activist for the people and be into politics and be a party and be part of a party?
I think if you are a real activist of people, you owe it to the people not to be beholden to any type of party politic. You got to be like LeBron James, be a free agent, a mercenary. If you got to, I've been saying, because ain't no such thing. Loyalty has an expiration date, and if you loyal to a party or to an entity that always undermining or taking your people for granted, then you know better than the folks you say you trying to, vote for me, I set you free type of BS.
Yeah.
Voting is the least most important thing in politics. It's the ability to control and create policy. You look at police are policy enforcers. So who create the policy for them to enforce? Who are the people behind? See, I had to get something done. And I had contact all the representatives from my state at the national level. I don't care if they was Republican, Independent, or Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody told me, "Why are you doing that? Don't you know they Republican?" I said, "I don't look. They taking taxpayer money for their salary. They supposed to represent my district. I'm going to contact them." And by me being more open-minded to utilizing all these folks for my ends, I was able to get something done. I mean, my thing is, why are black people beholden to a party that actually founded the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan, that actually created Jim Crow laws and black codes and stuff?
It's funny you said that because I definitely agree with not being beholden to a party. And when you do bring them the information, oh no, that was before the Dixiecrats.
No,
like,
they the same
and I'm looking at them like, dude, they
thing.
Didn't change. Like
right.
I said, and the first thing most people say is the lesser of the two evil theory, or they say it's definitely with 45. Oh, it's better than the last guy.
Yeah, whether it be Ted Bundy or Ed Buck, they both evil. You know what I'm saying? Gay black male prostitute versus dead white girls, dead white sorority girls. I mean, quantity. I mean, they both evil. They killing people for their pleasure.
So do you think, like, I mean, it's something when you get access to the information, and then it does something to your spirit, and you pushing and advocating for the people, and it's like we keep going right back down the same trail.
Yeah.
I was reading an article in I think it was New York Times, and it was basically saying how it was questioning the Democratic Party and their allegiance to the black vote, and it's like you even see like they don't care. They literally don't care. It's like the Democrats don't care, and the Republicans just always messing up. So they just.
I mean, but my thing is, why do people think that our people die for the right to vote? Voting is, whatever. Look, the most lynching victims were black business people. It wasn't about voting. It was about controlling your economics and getting a position for self-determination. That was the biggest threat, not voting. Why voting the biggest threat when they control the vote? If they control the ballot, why it is the biggest threat? But if you control your economics, then you can't control policy. Because the people that got the most power ain't interested in voting, because the people that got real power don't need your vote to exercise said power.
They coming in, they gonna follow the money.
Right. And then like you look at, I always tell people that when I talk to young people, I said when a president dies and they have the state funeral, look at the person standing next to the person that you know. The person you don't know in that room are the most powerful people in the room. They work in the shadows. They the king and queen makers. Don't worry about, Bill Clinton, but who's okay standing next to Bill Clinton you don't know? They the most powerful people in the room.
Right about that. So I know you've been really telling people about the because I don't think a lot of people understand the history of Ida B. Wells in Memphis.
No, they
I
don't.
think a lot of people
Nowhere.
believe it's all Chicago, you know, but her origin is your backyard.
Holly Springs, Mississippi. Born in slavery, July 16th, 1862. Her father was a very accomplished carpenter and a strong, masculine, patriarchal black man. Her mom was a sassy mouth, but she was one of the known famous cook of the South. She could curse out white people. I don't care, cracker. Here, take these grits and shrimp and eat them. Eat these grits. You gonna like them. We can't kill her because she cook all them damn shrimp and grits so good. So her mama was a famous cook in the South. She was well known for her cooking culinary abilities, and her father was a master, a carpenter or a mason, and very involved in community activity. And she came from that type of background. And she lost her parents when she was about 16. She ended up had to raise, I think, about her 5 brothers and sisters on her own to keep them from getting broken up and putting in foster homes and staying with relatives. So that tells a lot about who she is at that age. When I love about Ida B. Wells, you never catch her in a bunny.
I don't think a lot of people know, like, how Memphis was like. I would say now, so integral part of our history and our culture in this country, and basically the base of a lot of the civil rights movements came from out of Memphis, because it's like considered the middle of the country.
Yeah, I mean it's a hub of the country. It's the distribution hub of the country. Like I talk about Louis Armstrong, I got a picture back there, yeah, right here. And that lady with him is supposed to be Lil Harder Armstrong, this woman from Memphis who made him a superstar, who saw his potential and upgraded him where he's now this renowned figure. Whereas he would have been a side note if he didn't get no woman like that from Memphis really believing in him. But Memphis is like birthplace of modern America. Like I said, you know, Holiday Inn was founded here. FedEx was founded here. Tennessee Williams, arguably America's greatest playwright, did his first play in Memphis back in 1931. The great Richard Wright, one of the great American novelists of all time, grew up in North Memphis, from Mississippi himself. You know, I talk about Louis Armstrong. Also, Charlie Parker's dad is from Memphis. So you got all this history here. Jimmy Lunsford. I always talk about Jimmy Lunsford. He started jazz studies and the first person to do that anywhere.
Yeah, the audience probably don't, unless they watch just your channel, they wouldn't know how much of a musician you are.
I'm all right, but you know, my thing is, I play for myself first and foremost. But now I realize now that I come from a unique line of people. Like I said, I didn't know until like maybe in the last several years I was related to like Curtis Mayfield and Marvin Gaye and Sister Rosetta Tharpe and Big Miller. There's a couple of people, but what I like about all those people is that it was not about being just the greatest singer or the greatest guitarist. It's like they had something to say. And I have something to say, and I try to amplify it creatively by any means necessary.
Yeah, I watched the show where Judge Joe said that Curtis owns some money.
Well, Al Green, he said Al Green
he said Al Green.
Al Green owed me some money, but Judge, he's so much older than Al Green. They're about around the same age, man. Judge has got an old soul, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's funny to see that Judges made itself available for a lot of us content creators.
You should have him on your show, man.
And it's gonna happen soon. And
you ask one question and it'll be 3 hours later.
No, you even with that, you were like the guy that outside of Valerie with the show that he does on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
You were like the first person I seen had Judge on.
Yeah, it's like right after they canceled him and he started coming on, because I met Judge actually when he was running for DA back in 2014, and he actually was the first black prosecutor in Memphis and Shelby County history. So he's a history maker and a trailblazer, but he was trying to run and they canceled his show, and I just started putting him on and people were surprised. They thought he was a TV judge. Nah, this guy is a real judge, prosecutor, defense attorney, public defender. He knows the law. So you know, like you ain't gonna get that Cosby thing. How they did Cosby, you ain't gonna do Judge like that. He know the law, man.
Tell you, man, when he start talking that law and history,
yeah, he knows.
I'll be like, man, this guy's memory is serious. I mean, the information that he got in between his ears is incredible.
And it's a life he led. You know, he got like Dick Gregory and Judge. They live these amazing lives. That's kind of hard to believe, actually.
Yeah.
They got the receipts.
He was talking about his partner one time, and he was like, yeah, one of the guys in the class was Tukey Williams. I'm like, Judge know everybody, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Judge a little bit from everywhere. He was born in DC, folks from Tennessee. He was born in South LA, but he sounded like he from the South, right?
Yeah.
South Louisiana or something. Not South LA, but he got that act, you know, he's just like he's a character, man. He's like Teddy Roosevelt, Yosemite Sam, and Bass Reeves all into one. I don't know.
It's funny that you're right. Judge was the first person that said how Dr. Cosby was railroaded.
Yeah.
I don't think people really understand like a deposition is private, and they use something private. I mean, to charge him in a criminal case, that's like even unheard of that they would even do something like that.
And the reason why he did it because he did not supposed to face any future criminal charges at all. So he told the truth. He didn't lie. He didn't say he drugged women. He said he had a drug for women to have, partake disco biscuits or whatever to partake in. He didn't put no quaalude in nobody drink. People just, the lie travel faster than the truth, right? People rather believe a bold face. They rather believe a pretty lie than to accept the ugly truth.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like, you know, I don't know what Dr. Cosby got in store, but it's like, you know, you guys did this hoping he was gonna die in jail.
Yeah, that was their plan.
Because there's no reason why you would ever charge somebody for something that was sealed. Like, and even the press saying what was going on, it was like a big. And I live in Pennsylvania, so I kind of know how they play.
Pennsylvania is really Alabama, Mississippi. You know, they the place. Whatever the reputation Mississippi, Alabama have, Pennsylvania has earned it. Pennsylvania has always been that place as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. You start messing with the court system in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah. They got they railroad movement Abu Jamal, John Africa. You know, John Africa was known for representing himself in court. He used to get himself off in court. And Movement Abu Jamal wanted him to represent him at one point before he got killed. That's how brilliant of a mind he was.
They won't even get Mumia proper health care right now.
I trying to kill him too. I mean, he don't supposed to be in there, but what you gonna do about it? I mean, our people. I remember that night when they executed Troy Davis down in Georgia. A lot of people could sing when we shall overcome, and the cops going and doing donuts, siren, woo-hoo-hoo! And this dude, it was reasonable doubt the dude that snitched on him probably killed the cop. And that's the crazy thing about the Troy Day. But when you are people that don't respect yourself and allow yourself to constantly get disrespected, this is what you get. If we was a strong people, a lot of stuff that we are dealing with now, if people really love Ida B. Wells, the thing that she was standing on back in 1892, we should have followed through on what she was standing on. But they ran her out of Memphis. That means she could never. They ran out here before she was 20. She was 29 years old when they ran out of here. She was just 29 years old. Wow. And she ever stepped foot in here that was shot on her site. They would have lynched her on site if they ever saw her.
Nowadays, all they gotta do is give a joker some money and some biscuits, and they done sold everybody.
And not even that much money. This is really ridiculous. How much you get out of Negroes like that?
I was actually shocked. You know, after Mark Lamont Hill interviewed Judge, and you know, it went viral because of the way Judge reacted.
Yeah, rightfully so.
It's funny because I actually have been a little bit lenient towards Mark Lamont Hill lately, trying to understand him, and I don't think he is as bad as people make him out to be. I think he just has he don't be having all the information, which is okay.
But also, you know, if you're a public intellectual, like I used to have some respect for Dr. Hill several years ago, but when he did what he said about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, you're gonna wait till she dead to say the stuff you're gonna say. That's how you really feel. And then you put your neck out for Palestine and not for, you know, Philadelphia. Black folks been catching hell in Philadelphia. They just now put up a statue of a black person in Philadelphia, Octavius Cotto, about several years ago. I had a friend I went to college with. She was involved in the project to bring more awareness to the legacy of Octavius Cotto, who should be better known. But I mean, you got Rocky got a statue before a Smokey Joe Frazier, who was a real person. You know what I'm saying? You go,
he said about Dr. Frances Welsing, he said that he wished he wouldn't have did it, and his criticism he even told her. I mean, even if you did criticize an elder with something they did to their face, you don't wait till they die to talk about it. You keep that between.
But also with Dr. Welsing, he catch, man, You know, they talking about, well, we love her. I said, well, y'all there when they were building that Jewish school settlement home, they were giving, they drove her, they made her house, they made her home into a house. She didn't have no peace of mind for the last several years of her life. And all these so-called ride and die people, I didn't know all about that until after she passed away. Her issue with the school, encroaching on her property
and that's another thing. These people, the elders work for us, for the people, and it's like most of them are dying broke. Definitely, definitely the ones that's not selling out. They dying broke, and then you know made all this money, and then you quoting these people, and then you don't even do nothing.
I mean but to love our people, you gotta. If you serve our people, you gotta love them. Because we don't love ourselves a lot. We can't show love to people that love us because we don't know how to love ourselves properly as a people. And there, and like with Bob Moses, I mean, he should be a household name to work. He put his life on the line before there were cameras down south. Document. I mean, they lost a lot of people, disappeared and stuff. On that,
it's funny with Bob Moses. I remember his face when I was a little boy, like all the time. The face just always was familiar.
Like an owl face. It's like
and then when he passed away, I'm like,
totem pole face.
I remember his face. Yeah, I remember his face as a kid. And even with Baba Gregory was funny. I'll never forget as a little boy, all they talked about was Baba Gregory. He gonna go on a hunger strike. And then, like I said, to see the documentary and how he almost basically killed himself.
I mean, he wasn't just fast; he was starving himself to death.
Yeah.
Because the first hunger strike, he was about 300 pounds, and he went down to 96 pounds.
Wow!
And that's starvation. It's not that he just fast. If you don't understand, because a lot of people think conspiracy theory about they killed Baba Dick Gregory. Now, Baba Dick Gregory was committing a slow form of what Huey P. Newton would call revolutionary suicide.
Okay.
No, he was sacrificing his own well-being for the love of the people.
Yeah, and
then he was doing it over a marathon type of thing rather than something.
And then I didn't even know about until the documentary. I didn't even know about the business. I ain't know nothing about like
that house party that Dick Gregory didn't get.
Gregory, but it was more like as kids, it was more like a joke. And then you always see
a comedian.
You always see Baba on TV, and it's like, okay. He was an ex-comedian, so you didn't know if he was playing or he was serious. But his comedy, and it's funny because the connection with him and Dave Chappelle.
Right.
They're not. If you really listen to them, they're not comedians. They use real life situations to make you laugh, but also make you think.
I mean, humanists, right?
So
kinda
it's like
they in the same lane as a Mark Twain, somebody like that.
Yeah. So it's like you when they used to be like, got that Dick Gregory. I'm like, what are they talking about? Like,
Dick.
But he was keen. It's funny how he was keen on health. Like even when you would have him on, I remember one time he was talking about, as he would say, got to drink your water.
Right.
And he was talking about purified water. And I'm listening to him. He like, don't drink. He's like, why would you drink purified water? It ain't got nothing in it. He's like, they took everything out of it. He said, don't drink purified water. Right. And if you go walking, he said, don't run. He said, because your weight is hitting that pavement. Oh man, a million nights, man, I would just turn your show on, even some of the oldest ones with him, and just sit back and just listen to him. He put me to sleep, man, because a lot of like I said, his information is timeless, man.
I mean, he was a godsend. He was sent by God, man. He did his job, and it's paying off for a lot of people.
Yeah,
he helped so many people, man. Like even with this Olympics thing, like I talked about the Olympics, it actually was the '64 Olympics that he protested, but Dr. Harry Edwards, who was an East St. Louis native, saw what Dick Gregory did back then, and Dick thought it was in vain, but it led to them guys protesting in the '68 Olympics, so they raised their fist. That's directly from Dick Gregory. Even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said he got politicized or radicalized by listening to Dick Gregory speaking in UCLA or in LA somewhere.
Wow. Yeah,
he's a powerful man. I mean, he was a powerful man.
How you feel about Dr. Edwards, man? He be in and out. I knew that he was advising Colin when Colin took his stand, and then he's like, he did a couple of things in public, then he disappeared, and I'm like,
I mean, he's a smart man. I mean, he's a brilliant strategist. He know how to play with these white folks' psyche. I read a story from New York Times from '88. They talk about how he was getting all this money from Major League Baseball and NFL to advise them how to deal with black
Yeah.
players, especially from the inner city. I mean, I always had respect. I didn't know. I mean, I'm just looking for him on documentaries, and I think he just plays the game, man. He just he knows how to play the game, and I can't be mad at him for
he
it.
doing something right now with the NFL. I was last year. I heard
Okay.
his, you know, I heard that voice, and that voice is real distinctive.
It's very distinctive, yeah.
I'm like, doctor, I'm like, but he had disappeared, and I'm like, okay, but I know that he was advising Colin, and it's like,
He got him a check out of that. You know, he gonna get paid.
Yeah.
I respect that though. I respect that so much. Like you said, something about Colin, great ones die broke and stuff.
Even with Colin, I was back and forth with his stance. You know, not because I just felt he was allowing certain entities to play him.
I wasn't impressed. I need my heroes to be vocal. He's not impressed.
And that's another thing. I mean, even in that, if he would have just said something one time on what he wants to do, like, do you really want to play football or don't you want to play football? And then you got all these people fighting for you, and then it was a lot of miss.
Well, he always had Nike in his corner backing him, so he had a golden parachute. So I mean, Colin, you know, he got mad at them because he got benched that time. That's why he was, you know, kneeling or whatever to bring attention to himself. I don't know per se, but my thing is that, you know, these guys fail because there'll never be another Muhammad Ali.
And
he sacrificed everything. He sacrificed his belt and money.
And even with that, the Green Beret guy, the white guy that was helping Colin and told him don't sit, kneel. He got an organization, and his organization prospered big time, money wise.
All this about money. All the money. Yeah,
and it's like, you know, Colin, what is you doing? Like, is you serious? Ain't you serious? Then he tried to get through the thing down in Atlanta, showed up in all black with the Kunta Kinte.
No, it's a game. It's solid. I mean, that's why you know he ain't serious. He wasn't trying to come back. Cause he had opportunity. We could have came back. I believe they were trying to give him an opportunity. He just wanted to make a show, and he already got paid. Like he got paid from Nike. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So just do it, I guess, or don't do it, and you still get paid.
And that was another thing. Why I asked you about the thing about the activists with politics. It's like I have a major problem with Nike and what they do because their athletes make it seem like they're standing for social justice, but do we realize what's going on over in China? Now, you could say, well, that's China's problem. We worried about over here, but at the end of the day, you getting money from Nike, and then you talking about our government and the stuff, our problems we got over here, but look at what they doing over there. And it's like,
you know, LeBron tried to speak out, see what happened. He got spanked, right?
Yeah.
He had to apologize, you know, when he tried to support the Houston Rockets general manager at the time. Yeah. I'm saying
then he threw him under. Then he threw the general manager.
I mean, but you know, America. I mean, to me, LeBron, I'm not interested in. He's not an intellectual to me. Just open up some more schools. Just do what you do, but don't try to be not Malcolm X. Okay, you don't have to be Paul Robeson. Just be an entertainer. Just be you. Stick to dribbling and.
Do you think that we expect too much from our athletes? We expect them.
Yeah, they entertain. They distraction. They court justice. We shouldn't expect these things. They're not soldiers, not revolutionaries, they're not mercenaries. They're not statespeople, diplomats. They're not that. They're okay. They could be ambassadors for their sport, but they're not people that we should be taking serious in terms of politics.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not knocking them because. They shouldn't have to fear for their life every time they get and step into an arena to play basketball. Jesus. They shouldn't have be no sniper scope or every time they're playing basketball or running track. It's kind of stupid to me.
You want to put a microphone and you want to ask them about social events. They don't even be knowing what be going on.
No, they don't even know what be going on in their own homes with their side chicks and stuff. You know what I mean?
Look, I noticed the new one with LeBron is, has he been vaccinated or not? Like they trying to figure out, and I'm glad he hasn't said anything because don't nobody need to know your personal
it's kind of really stupid.
what you've been, and it's like they want.
Ask Simone Biles has she ever had an abortion?
Ooh,
you know, my body, my choice, right? So same thing with the other stuff.
Yeah. It's funny how that works. And the whole vaccination thing is. It's amazing how they making the vaccinated think like the unvaccinated is the enemy, and just it's a funny game they play. And then when you've been around for a minute and you see it, you like, That's one of the oldest tricks in the book. Y'all still trying to do that, and people are literally falling for it. You see what they did in New York? They're telling people, "Oh, no more public places."
You gonna tell 12 million people that? Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, you
good
just imagine your business though. You're not going to be asking people that. You might be like, come with a mask or whatever, but you don't care. You're trying to make money. So many people lost money during this pandemic. You think you're gonna be asking people about, oh, you vaccinated? Or you not
because
vaccinated?
like even like the eviction moratorium. I mean, it's kind of weird. Well, it's doing as a big social experiment. It really trying to phase out. They trying to depopulate. They purging, they thinning the herd. They just trying to make everything automated. You know, they try to make us subordinate dummies and zombies and stuff like that. And some people we should be pushing back at this point as people. But none of us ain't pushing back.
I think the how they use the pushback is it got to be race. You got to be, you got to hate the Constitution. And it's like nowadays, this country was built off of dissent. Mm-hmm. And now people don't even want you to disagree with them. I mean,
yeah, the media. I mean, it's interesting, man. Because like one thing I like about it though is that it reveals who people really are to you. And you reveal yourself to you, like you really understand who you can if you want to, if you can't accept those hard truths, like how people are. Because I don't get upset by people's political views. I had my childhood pastor who baptized me unfriend me because I was a Trump supporter, and he said all Trump supporters are stupid. But I went to congratulate him on produce. He used to be a DJ back in the day, so he used to produce like these pioneering gospel groups back in the 70s, and they did an NPR spot on him last year where he, had an album when they found in this old rundown house in Mississippi on his way getting lost forever, and they preserved it and remastered it. So I was like, damn, I'm not even his friend no more. What the hell happened? But I still tagged him anyway. I said, oh, he said this about people that's stupid that support Trump. Oh, okay. That's why we ain't friends. Wow. But you baptized me. You supposed to be a wise counselor. Okay.
Wow. Kind of strange. So he felt as though that you voting for your best interest. It was a problem, and you wasn't following the.
Yeah, but I was doing it in our best interest, though. Cause I don't think Trump is the monster that these folks. I mean, rappers. He's blacker than Obama to me. I mean, he's from Queens, like 50 Cent and Run DMC and LL Cool J and Nicki Minaj. I mean, he got about 400 rap songs mentioning Trump and talking about Trump, and Trump is braggadocious and all that, and big ego, and he got swagger, and he swing his and knocking skyscrapers over with his balls. So I mean, like that's to me, that's a black man I want to be.
That's the same type of arrogance that the rappers speak, right?
Right. They mad him, but I mean, they taking selfies, or like you look at the 80s, all these black celebrities, black folks, they worship Trump. We worship celebrity. We worship wealth. We worship at those altars, and now. Because the media say he's a bad boy. Now y'all want, it's like Bill Cosby. He's America's dad. Now he's America's rapist. You people are crazy.
I thought that was crazy. They took his show off. They ain't putting his show back on, though. They ain't trying to do that.
Well, it's like you look at Rihanna, just became allegedly, I don't trust for
a billionaire.
Yeah, she became a billionaire, but she can't go out of space. You try to go out of one trip out of space, you'd be broke. So that really ain't impressive. Being a billionaire is like being a thousandaire now. It's not that impressive. You can't go out of space one time and keep your billion. So they'll let Rihanna and Jay-Z be billionaires, but they don't want Bill Cosby to be a billionaire.
Why do you think that is that they love telling us about? They actually, and the celebrities fall for it. They actually put the celebrities in our face, like you said, Rihanna just became a billionaire. Like what does that mean? I mean,
Trump's a billionaire too.
Good for her if she became a billionaire. Like what does that mean?
They don't do nothing for black people. Because black folks, you still got rent due.
Yeah,
and the 5th is coming up, and they say they're gonna extend this month. I don't know.
Yeah,
they playing games with people's lives, man.
What do you think about the? I see that Nina Turner had lost. I was kind of surprised. I thought she was going to win and at least become.
Nina Turner, what have meant she was
running for congresswoman.
Okay.
Out of Cleveland. In Ohio. I thought she was going to win though.
I'm just tired of black women running for Congress. They have not died. You can't name me one great black woman mayor in history. You can't name one.
That's
you can't name one. So why was this big a dude? Why we got a woman police officer here, a police chief in Memphis? I'm not impressed. And I'm not trying to be funny about it, but it's something about this is the type of America you get when you try to destroy and emasculate black men. You won't let black males be men. This is the type of weakness you get. And our communities are suffering from it because we already had this experiment with the matriarchy. It has failed. In education, in economics, in the community, it's failed. In the home. And in politics, it's not working for us.
It's funny because you know the judge talks about that a lot on your show, how and then you do the show with Dana about manning up and taking responsibility and understanding it's about great nations is known by the men and this, that, and third. It's funny how when you tell particularly females, for example, the roots of feminism, that this was not our movement, this was their movement, and they basically did it because they hated us, and they'll tell you, "Oh, I'm not a feminist," but really, you follow the ideology of it. You say you ain't, but every chance you get, you're treating your sons like garbage, and then treating the man in your life like he's a servant or something.
Basically, ATM or whatever he is, or dildo. Human dildo, I don't know. I mean, just not with respect. I mean, black men are the least respected and protected class of people in America. It's not black women. Because people always talking about what Malcolm said. Malcolm, that was about maybe 50-something years ago. But if he was alive today, and see, black masculinity is in the death throes right now.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people understand what happened after Malcolm died, like how they attacked the black family, like with welfare, and they said, "Oh, we got to separate the husband and wife in the black homes," and
black folks was like the most married people before all that happened. Like black folks, we believe in family because even after the Civil War, one of the first things we doing trying to find family.
Yeah,
that's why family reunions are so important to us as a people.
Yeah,
so what they done to us through these institutions to break up the family. But one of the first things Bill Cosby said when I listened to him on the phone on Sunday, he said that revolution starts in the home. His father was a drunk and alcoholic and left abandoned his family. You living in the Richard Allen projects in Philadelphia. Look what he was able to do. But his thing was trying to encourage, because I always say people, the real trinity is the black man, woman, and child. And when we work together is when our greatest victories occur and when paradigms are shifted. And when we work against each other is when we have our biggest downfalls.
Yeah.
And we stop these generational curses.
That's definitely what's going on now. I was shocked at Jamel Hill. She
married to I guess a black male.
I used to really like her when she first graduated from college and she was on ESPN. I'm like, wow, she's real intelligent. She worked on the way up. She was the first black woman on Sports Reporters. And then she just started like, her Twitter fingers got crazy. And then she had, as Paul Mooney used to say, she had her nigga moment when she tweeted about Trump and ESPN showed her like, nah, you causing us a little bit too much controversy. We got to let you go. And she still get a little crazy.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, our people are crazy. I mean, look what we're going through right now. It's insane what we've been willing to put up with for generations and decades, Enough is enough, but when are we going to really realize that enough is enough?
Yeah, and then we both had our talk with Carmen, man.
Not the Carmen Johnson.
Carmen's situation is really crazy. I come from that dealing with the court system in my life, and the amount of time they gave her was crazy compared to what her charges were. I mean, really, they as we say, they should have finished her, but it lets you know how they railroaded her, man. And it's really,
but she was playing like she was in the system. She was an officer in the NACP at the state level. Had the kind of the Jack and Jill Boulay thing going on. I mean, she fit the mold of why they don't protect people like their own, but they'll be the first ones they eat is their own.
Yeah, I think I have a man, brother Ron. I have a major. That's like the list: the NAACP, Did you go to HBCU?
No, I should have went to one. I didn't go.
And
I went to YCU in St. Louis.
I mean, even the HBCUs, I have a lot of friends that went there and went to, Howard and Hampton, and I'm very skeptical of HBCUs, man. It's because it's like most of the people I know, only thing they did was
who started for the most part. Why were HBCUs started? Historical Black College Universities.
Oh yeah, they were started by them people.
Yeah, so they have
as endowments.
Yeah. Well, they these former slave owners where they have their mulatto kids, where they get a good education. Like Ivy League schools were started by these drug dealing, slave holding pimps who wanted their stupid sons to be educated.
Yeah.
I mean, look at George W. Bush, for example. I mean, this man's a legacy. I mean, he's average this and average that, but because of his bloodline and who he's related to and last name, you get access to all the top shelf stuff.
Yeah,
and you got a lot of brilliant people that never had, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois would never have been hired at Harvard. They never wanted him, even though he's like the man who invented American sociology.
How do you feel about him and Booker T? I know Judge be going in on Booker T.
I mean, Judge, I don't feel the same like Judge does about Booker. I feel like Booker T actually was assassinated for some of his political views, especially when it came to U.S. occupation of Haiti, because he was really vocal about the U.S. occupation of Haiti. He wrote an op-ed, I believe it came out October 18th, 1915, in the T. Thomas Fortune's New York Age. That was very critical of U.S. occupation of Haiti, of a proud people. Then a few weeks later, he's dead. And his last speaking engagement was at Yale, home of Skull and Bones. And you look at the people that control, his purse strings, like, Rosenwald School. He was in the Rosenwald and Rockefeller. I think he went to Rockefeller Hospital, and they treated him because nobody really knows how he died. But the elders, they say he was poisoned by a Haitian.
Wow.
And some people in his circle died crazy deaths. And then the guy who took over for him was Robert Moulton, U.S. Army intelligence spy who helped spearhead Tuskegee experiment, Eunice Rivers, before he retired from Tuskegee.
Yeah, I always thought that was interesting when I was reading and be like, how they, W.E.B. Du Bois and them didn't get along, and I'm like, they both saying the same thing. Like,
I mean, it's ego, man. Cause like even Garvey, Garvey was pen pals with Booker T. Washington, and he actually did want to work with the NAACP when he got here, but he saw the arrogance of Du Bois and stuff like that. And people say, "Oh, we should be above like Umar versus Tariq or whatever." They were calling each other names back then. You even had William Monroe Trotter, somebody I like, go against Booker T. Washington and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, W. Du Bois said some. He said some. Some of the stuff he said about Garvey was like, man, he was going for the juggler.
I mean, it's like a versus Du Bois versus Garvey. I mean, I like to see that versus. We got holograms and people do all that weird stuff. They bring it, make it happen.
Yeah, that's the versus we want to see.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's the Hotep versus.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Dr. Rashidi has moved on. That was a big blow.
I mean, like, I respected him because his legacy, his name preceded him, and people. I mean, I just big up to him for doing the work he was doing, traveling around the world, not only for himself but for his people, and leaving it. I mean, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, all them guys, man.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was living in Jersey, they would always be in Jersey. A lot of these guys, and I'm like,
yeah,
I was younger, and I'm like, man, I ain't going to see them people, man.
Why? They not, it's not on you.
I because Leonard Jeffries, he's always in Jersey.
He's still around. Leonard Jeffries,
I ain't going to see that, man. And then when you get older, you be like, yo, he was right there, man. Like I could have just spent a little time and.
It's like that's how I feel when I was going to college, and I could have saw Chuck Berry. And I would perform at Blueberry Hill in University City. I said, Chuck Berry. I mean, I could have had a chance. I could have saw one night. You know what I'm saying? He was right there. But it's how it be, though. I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know.
So what you got on the horizon?
That's a good question. There's a lot of stuff I'm trying to get done. I'm going out to Charleston to pay my respect to my great uncle. They having a funeral this weekend, so I got to drive 10 hours tomorrow. I guess I don't know. We'll see how God help that work out. But I don't know. There's a lot of stuff, man. A lot of projects I want to do, like a Jimmy Lunceford stuff. We doing the festival this year in October. Hopefully, I don't know what's going to happen because kind of everything on edge right now. But we're in the process. We want to honor blues great Bobby Rush this year, and I'm looking forward to next year, which will be like the 120th celebration of the 120th anniversary of Jimmy Lunceford's birth. So I got some great things in line. I don't know. I just want to have time to do these things.
Yeah, I had
yeah.
drove down to Georgia a couple months ago, and I was coming through, and where I live in Pennsylvania, I didn't have to go through Delaware.
Yeah.
So I went through Maryland, I went down Pennsylvania, went south. I went past Gettysburg, and I'm looking, and you know, I'm one of them guys that like history. So I'm looking at these places, and I'm just shaking, looking at, and you start playing this stuff in your head. And then when I got to Georgia, I went to Stone Mountain. I'm like, you know, you it's like these places are like a myth when you read them, and then when you see them, you be like,
yeah. It's kind of small, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was bigger than this.
Yeah.
Like, well, I thought it was gonna be.
It's kind of
a lot of places like that. But I mean, it's good that you are aware of that type of stuff, though. Cause a lot of folks, like I tell people tell me I gotta go overseas, and it's stuff in your backyard you have no ideas there that you should look at.
Because believe it or not, the town that I grew up in, Jersey, the last battle of the Civil War was fought at like the base, right behind the baseball field. We used to play baseball.
Hey, so they got a market there,
because what happened where Washington was at in Morristown, they was trying to get through the back way. So it's a historian there that, you know, I was on the phone with him one day. He said, you know, when you used to play baseball there before they knocked the park down, when they was trying to get up there to Washington, you know, you start visualizing what's going on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, because I've been thinking about a figure, a historical figure lately, and I've been trying to understand his mind a little bit. How you feel about Hoover?
Which one, Herbert or J. Edgar?
J. Edgar.
I believe he probably was a self-hating black person. I mean, it sounds like he was. I know his sister wrote a book, and I think they did a documentary about 20-some years ago about she was a Hoover from Macomb, Mississippi, and she said that Hoover one time threatened the black side of his family to ever expose his true racial identity. He would kill them all. So I believe Hoover was a self-hating black man. I mean, for him to do the things he was able to do.
Because I was thinking about him always behind the scenes on all of our black leaders at the time and their connections with other countries. And I was saying to myself, you know, did Hoover really was he really trying to protect the republic, or he just hated black people?
That's a good question. I mean, can it be one and the same? I mean, it is America.
Because if you notice, you know, Brother Ron, it's interesting because Baba Gregory, Judge Joe Brown, you know, people that we love, they don't be on anti-government stuff. They just be educating us with what's going on. And a lot of the elders that have moved on, a lot of them be having these allegiances to other governments. You know, they be like deep down socialist. Yeah. And Hoover, like, really, he would say he was trying to protect the republic.
He could have been doing that because you know, Thurgood Marshall, one of Judge Joe Brown's heroes, was an FBI informant.
Yeah.
And Judge, well, you know, now Judge, no, he was an FBI informant. Well, you know, by the way, no, by the way, shit, no, FBI informant. You know, we ain't gonna try to act like this. You want to talk about the boys? Except this one right here. He was
original G-man.
Right? No, Judge. He was FBI informant. I you know, it is what it is, man. You know, but he played the game. It's like Dr. Harry Edwards. He playing the game. He understand how the game is played. He played to his greatest advantage. And I don't hate the player. You hate the game, don't hate the player.
Yeah.
You know?
So Judge be trying to justify it?
Yeah. No, Judge. No. Like we try to say, well, Hubert Humphrey was an alpha. I mean, yeah, he honorary alpha judge. When you meet Hubert, I met him in 66. Well, he was made an honorary one in 65. That's the alpha historian. They ain't me saying that. Don't like he's getting his ass paddled and stuff back in the 30s.
Yeah, I always thought it was funny how how the NAACP, when you read how they used to send Thurgood Marshall places, that was the beginning of clout chasing. Because they would send him to certain places just to get notoriety for the.
I mean, but he had to fight. I mean, he had to fight for his life a couple of times. I'm not saying he's a pushover, but he was the informant.
Wow.
I mean, he had to preserve his life several occasions. I mean, he was no punk. He was out there on the front lines every now and then.
I was telling somebody that because I was looking at because of Trump, I was doing a bunch of stuff following a lot of the rulings that SCOTUS was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked a friend of mine, I said, yo, why people always told us that Clarence Thomas was a sellout? I was like, the man don't talk. I said, the man ain't talked since he been in the Supreme Court. He said one word where they made a big thing, and him and Scalia both said something where he talked. And then I wound up listening to a couple interviews on YouTube, and I'm like, Clarence ain't as bad as people made him out to be, man.
No, he very well. I agree with you on that because I just think he made a choice. He chose to live a certain type of life, and he's willing to pay the cost for that. But he's not. It's like Herman Cain. People misclassified Herman Cain. I mean, to me, Herman Cain was blacker than Obama. I mean, he's born in Memphis, raised in Atlanta, went to Morehouse, married his black sweetheart, been married for 50-some years, still a black one.
Well, I got a culinary background, so we can't. I would never say nothing about Herman Cain because he was the president of the National Restaurant Association.
I mean, he was a brilliant guy, but then he's probably one of the most qualified people to ever run for the White House. But because of the color of his skin, they didn't want to take him seriously. But I think Herman Cain was not a bad guy. He just had his own point of view, the way he saw it. And most people forget most black people were Republicans at one point. Well, this Democrat, I mean, like, I don't care what party you vote for. I mean, that's your business. My thing is we should be able to get together on something we all can agree upon and work on that issue. Don't worry about all the things that divide us, but focus on some of the things that can unite us behind something so we all could get something.
I think right now people are like politically exhausted. Like it might pick up back during the midterms. But I just think that most people right now, they don't even care who's the president. They just
it shouldn't even matter who's president, as long as you got your political game on point. Like you look at Harry Edwards, it doesn't make a difference who is the commissioner here and there, as long as he get his paycheck and he gets his agenda met and served. The voting thing is meant to tire you out because it's not about what people think it's about. Voting is not the most important thing in politics.
Yeah. Harry Edwards, boy, I tell you.
I mean, it's like he from East St. Louis too, so he got that, he got that mindset. He like Miles Davis. This cat, Miles ain't the greatest trumpet player, but he got the most out of his music abilities, man. He got more than a lot of these cats got out of there.
Were you shocked that President Biden said that about George Floyd? That his death was more important than Martin Luther King?
Not really, because look who was Joe Biden, and he's a Klansman. I mean, basically, look who trained him. Eastland and Stennis and shit, Bird and name them all. Thurman. I mean, he's their wet dream. He's a Dixie wet dream.
I was shocked that they started building all those George Floyd statues.
I'm not impressed with George Floyd. I mean, I hate he lost his life, but I like this man. Look, build some statues for Sonny Liston. He whooping police officers' ass. I didn't know. I mean, Sonny Liston, y'all, I like Ali, but we should have been loving Sonny Liston because he whooping police officers' asses. I didn't know he was beating that many police. I mean, he was in St. Louis whooping police officers' asses, sending them to the hospital and shit. I didn't know that, man. I said, y'all lied to me about Sonny Liston. And he wanted to be the people's champ, but I guess he was too dark and he was too much of a thug for the NAACP. But my thing is, I don't look at people like him having tragic lives. I look at a person was born the 24th out of 25 children, never learned how to read and write, didn't know when he was born, didn't know when he died, but yeah, he became the heavyweight champion in the world. That's a successful life. Yeah. I mean, I look at DMX, the fact that he made to 50, wow, that's a miracle. Yeah. But he left some stuff behind. He left a lot of kids behind, a lot of music behind. So it was not a tragedy. Billie Holiday is not a tragedy. Man, shit happened to you while you were alive. Shit happens. But at the end of the day, if you leave some stuff behind that people can benefit from, your life was not a tragedy. I don't care when you die. To me, Tupac life wasn't a tragedy. I know. I did what he did.
I know you. A couple times you had talked about what they did to Joe Louis, and I think a lot of people don't know. Like,
it was horrible. I mean, they destroyed. He was a patriot, man. I mean, he gave $1 million to the government, and then they used the IRS to destroy him. Man was giving free boxing exhibition for Uncle Sam. This dude got Jackie Robinson to officer school on his recommendation. Joe Louis was a patriot, and they destroyed this man.
what did he do? Because it's usually the game.
Probably
like,
dating, sleeping on white women. They told him to sleep on white women.
They'll let you play the game. They'll let you play the game. You make the deal, and then
I don't think he did. I just think that, like, America, it's like, okay, with Jesse Owens, that lie they told about Hitler snubbing. Hitler didn't snub Jesse Owens. Franklin Roosevelt snubbed Jesse Owens, because Jesse Owens said it wasn't Hitler. It was Franklin Roosevelt. Didn't invite me to the White House when I won all the gold medals. That would hurt him. His own country that he represented did not invite him to the White House.
And it's crazy because I'll never forget when Dr. Cosby's son died. Right.
And
I had an older guy tell me. He said that was the warning, and I'm like, "What you mean?" He's like, they killed his legacy. So you're younger, you don't be understand. I'm like, "What you mean?" He's like, they killed his son. They killed his legacy. So I used to always go see him when he come and do a stand up. I used to go see him, and Dr. Cosby. I never got offended by stuff he said. A lot of people would get offended. I just thought.
But why did they get offended? Because it was true.
Yeah.
I mean, what I mean by true is, it's like the baby. They got offended because what he said was true. I didn't say it necessarily was accurate. I said it was true because it hits you in a very vulnerable spot. So when that hits you, the truth has no friends. The truth is what it is.
One of the things you said, and I want you to tell me and tell everybody, you said that Dr. Cosby did not get a return on his investment. Explain that.
He did not, because he invested in institutions that were supposed to be B1, Black first. He invested in people, and people try to say he was selfish. And he gave $200 million to HBCUs. He gave money to Black arts. Like he invested in Spike Lee's Malcolm X movie. He invested in Melvin Van Peebles' Sweet Back Badass song that would never got made. And that soundtrack was done by Earth, Wind, and Fire. So I mean, he did a lot of things. A Black Stuntman Association helped get Black makeup artists into the Hollywood game. Did a lot of things that he didn't try to seek credit for, but I'm saying, like, he invested in his people, and his people would not even give him the benefit of the doubt. It gotta hurt. Without any evidence, here you got Larry Nassar, the Olympic medal doctor, got all this evidence of him doing this to these girls, not women, these were girls. And you got these institutions covering up for him for years, and even paying restitution.
Yeah, and he collected stimulus. And he just got a stimulus check.
Right, and got stimulus check, and probably got that money to pay for protection from getting his ass knocked up. And you know what I'm saying? That's why he got that money in his book to pay for protection. Probably. He'll be there forever. But I'm saying, but Dr. Cosby is not given the same benefit of the doubt. Look at that.
I thought about that. I thought about Larry Nassar with the Simone Biles thing, because I don't think a lot of people remember that she was his quote unquote last victim. Right. So even with them talking about, okay, she gonna bow out because of mental health issues, which is totally fine. Y'all should be still talking about this monster. Y'all should be still talking about this guy.
You know what they did? The media talked about it and they buried it again. Like it's like the Loch Ness monster. It came up for air. The Loch Ness monster came up for air. Then it go break down the Loch Ness. Now, wait, did we see what we just saw? Nah, man, fuck on the other. Yeah, she's a quitter. Oh, man, quit. I said, damn, she overachieved. You know what I'm saying? She won 30 plus medals and she got moves named after her. She was so bad and mean and great that they had to deduct points because she was too damn perfect. It's like Barry Bonds. It's like, you motherfuckers cut 3 years off his career, and now nobody never ever gonna break that home run record. That's what God does. Nobody gonna never ever come close to breaking that shit. Because Barry Bonds, she had over 800 home runs, over 3,000 hits, and over 2,000 RBIs. And they took that from that man. They took 3 years of his whatever he had left.
He was using something that they didn't know about, and it wasn't illegal.
Cheating, though? You didn't know? They using stuff right now they don't know about.
He said it was called clear. They didn't know nothing about it, and it was illegal. And it leaked out that he was one of the people that tested. They wicked, man.
Well, here's the thing. You remember, I remember when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were doing a home run thing back in '98. And I remember reading the St. Louis Post Dispatch. I was going to school in St. Louis. They said, well, you know, Mark McGwire, he's using androsten, which is outlawed in NFL, but it's not outlawed in baseball. So how is he cheating when y'all don't have no rules saying he can't use androsten? I think it's called androsten, whatever. Yeah, but he was using that. And they were talking about it openly. So why are you going to shame him several years after he retired on it? And y'all allowed them. Y'all knew that they were doing this. I mean, but Barry Bonds was already a Hall of Famer. And my thing is, they walked him so many times. So how did he have an advantage? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, even not to me, everything evens out.
Yeah, one time.
I don't understand. Baseball's a game built on cheating anyway.
I tell you that one year when he broke the record, man. I used to be a big baseball fan, and man, you threw him one pitch to hit through the whole game, and it was gone.
Barry Bonds, they ain't nobody like Barry Bonds in the history of baseball. I mean, I know Babe Ruth and he was great, Ty Cobb, but there's something about Barry Bonds. Ain't nobody like that, man. He won 7 MVPs for a reason. He had the skinny Barry Bonds and the big Barry Bonds.
His eyesight alone.
It's hard to hit a baseball. Hell, it's one of the hardest things you could do in sports.
And it's funny. it ain't like his eyes got better when he got older. He
picked his spots, man. He had so much dominance over the batter box. Man, he made the pitchers pitch the way he want them to pitch.
Yeah,
but it didn't pitch to him. I mean, it's just like most intentional walks, most walks of all time. I mean, you look at Albert Pujols and them guys. It just it's hard to look at. It's hard to look at Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera. It's just so hard. It's like Willie Mays going on too long, but they cut Barry Bonds. Even Willie Mays said he had at least 2 more years left. That's his godfather.
Yeah.
Willie Mays was great, you know what I'm saying? But
I used to be a big baseball fan.
I used to be too. Like, it's so hard to watch now. They don't even got no style. It is like I strike out or I hit home run.
And they don't market to the black man no more. They stole
it from. You know what? They were tired of us. Because look at who are the greatest baseball. We lost Hank Aaron this year, but the greatest baseball players, even you rank them like Major League, a lot of them came out the Negro Leagues. So Hank Aaron, Ernie Banks, Willie Mays. A lot of them cats came out the Negro Leagues, man. So how is the Negro Leagues inferior to Major League if a lot of your talent came? Roy Campanella, Don Nuke. I mean, like a lot of these guys, man.
Yeah, I met Roy Campanella. He was staying when he was an older man. And
it's just tragic how it happened to him with the car crash, but I mean, he was a hell of a baseball player.
Yeah. So how you what's about the action? Oh man, I forgot my thought, Ron.
That's all right. It happened to me all the time. It'll come back to you.
So you were saying about the Ida B. Wells. So they just had they unveiled the statue, I know, in Chicago.
Yeah, they had it on the former site of the Ida B. Wells projects. And then they came to Memphis on Beale Street near her newspaper office. She used to have a newspaper office in First Beale Baptist. That's a black church on Beale. And they unveiled her monument here. And it's more like the one in Chicago is more of an abstract tribute, and this one's actually you have a life-size statue. Really, it's not life-size because Ida B. Wells like 5'2", but 6 foot Ida B. Wells ain't bad.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today. We was talking about the Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin interview that interview that was floating around. I was kicking it with it, and I said, that's funny. They always try to say that we black people have a problem with homosexuality. And I said, what's funny about this interview, that's a great interview on relationships. And you had her, she was LGBTQ and he was LGBTQ, but the conversation was excellent. And they gave a lot of information. And they're our heroes. And I just always think that I was thinking about the kid, the baby, like what he's going through now. And it's like, you done messed up, buddy.
I mean, he made those deals, though. They make those deals. That's why they do them. Like, he's part of their group. Yeah. And I like some of the baby stuff. I have no issue. Like, I don't mad at I don't expect them to fight my battles. If I'm criticizing them because they're not being more vocal about social justice, then what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, why I'm watching them? Fuck this motherfucker, man. I'm going to pay-per-view. Hey, man, you better say something about George Floyd, man. Goddamn. Shit. Eating these popcorn and shit, nachos, and hell, y'all better be marching out there. Shit, I'm watching y'all, man. I'm paying for this premium cable, nigga.
I'd rather see like they should do like what Harry Belafonte did. Just put your money down. If
Yeah.
that's what you want to do, just put your money. You ain't got to say nothing. Just put your money towards the cause. I mean,
Or
it's
just like, do fundraise. Like, yeah, put your money down. But Dick Gregory them knew that back in the day, though. My thing about why LeBron James can't be Ali, because back in those times, them athletes was not making the type of money they're making now. They had to work regular jobs a lot of time in the off season or go to night school or whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
So they could relate to the average person in the streets or in society, the working class person. A lot of them still was kind of working class. So that day is gone.
And who gonna take care of LeBron if he fall on the sword for the people anyway? We ain't gonna.
I wouldn't do it. He shouldn't fall on the sword. He push somebody. Give me 50 feet. Then he give me 50 feet. He push somebody out the way.
In our eyes, we should consider him a winner already. Like he won in life. Like let him be. Like we shouldn't even be holding him.
Well, they're gonna get him. They always get it because he's the first billionaire athlete. Well, to make $1 billion as I don't know. Like, why do I care about them getting $1 billion when a lot of us can't get no damn stimulus check? I ain't worried about no Rihanna money. What the hell Fenty gonna do for me?
Well, brother Ron, appreciate you joining the show, man.
It's been fun, actually. I needed this, man. There's a lot of stuff
going on. I'm gonna have you on again. But
I gotta get you on my show as well. I mean, this is awesome.
We'll figure it out one day. We'll figure it out soon. I know. I gotta have Dr. Short on again. Man, my audience like Dr. Short for some reason.
I know why. I mean, Dr. Short is a fascinating man, but he's, Doctor, I believe in freedom of speech, but damn, Doc, it's YouTube, right? Damn, you want a platform to come back to, Dr. Short? Damn, be more discreet,
brother Ron. I hit him. Look, I've known him for like a year. So I hit him. I said, "Yo, I ain't heard nothing from you. You ain't sent me no articles." And he like, "Yeah, they took my account." I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" And then when I seen him start another account, he would always be like, "I'm going live." So I'd be watching, and he start his stuff late at night or early in the morning. I'd be watching, and next thing I know, the account gone. I'm like,
maybe best. Dr. Short is the truth teller, though, man. I would tell people, I said, like the dude what he doing, like Malcolm X, he was broke when he died, right? He didn't even have a house to his name or anything.
Yeah. Was it $21 he had in his pocket?
Probably holes at the bottom of his shoes. But I'm saying, like, people don't understand. This is a thankless job. This is not a job. If you have kids, I would not tell your kids to go into like trying to tell the truth and trying to say. It's like you talk about James Baldwin, right? James Baldwin, they allowed him to live to be an older man, but his friends get killed before they're 40. Masculine black men like Malcolm and Medgar and Dr. King. But it's like that Good Times thing where you got the father James. If he say the stuff that Michael say, the cute little light-skinned boy, he's trying to burn down Detroit and Chicago and Newark. Because Michael said, look at this Negro. He's kind of cute, isn't it? Look at him, not a threat. It's like a proud to the people. He's like a Teddy Rock fan, a Teddy Rock nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they don't want black masculine men around. They don't want black masculinity around at all. And this is what we get.
Wow. With that, everybody in the chat, thanks for joining the show. Appreciate you, brother Ron. Stay on for a second. Wait till I close out.
All right.
And close the show.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please continue to join us here for conversations on hot topics, interviews with special guests, and our featured programs such as the Poetry Corner, where you can hear dope poets from around the country creating that Poet Cafe vibe, and Crown Rules, our virtual book club on love, intimacy, and healthy relationships. Let's talk. We are everywhere you want to be. Follow us on YouTube at Let's Talk, Facebook at Let's Talk, and on Instagram at Let's Talk 1931. Have a suggestion? Give us a call at 570-795-4283. Or for business inquiries, please email us at ltalk5600@gmail.com. Let's talk. I water you, you water